Get ready for 30 accessory trends that will rule 2026, but guess what? They're already here in 2025. Some are completely fresh, some you might already own, and all are ready to inspire your next look. Come along! Number 1 is the fortune cookie bag. For sure, this is a new trend. That type of piece you weren't really seeing much, or maybe weren't paying much attention to, but it is definitely one of the big trends for 2026. This bag is fun, different, yet at the same time manages to be very elegant. It can be a sophisticated bag. It's not that kind of fun, but overly flashy or bold bag. Not at all. It keeps a certain sophistication. It's one of the main bag trends for 2026, and one of the most unique, one of those that are truly something new. Because of its different and creative shape, this bag stands out. So, my tip is that you choose the color according to your style. If your style, for example, is more sophisticated or traditional, neutral tones like brown and black will make this bag more discreet, not so flashy. Now, if you are a more creative, fashion-forward woman, you can go for models in bolder colors, stronger shades like yellow, green, red, or even printed options. It will depend on your personal style. You will also find a variety of materials, including more rigid versions and others that are more flexible. Not all of them will have that rounded fortune cookie shape. Some will actually have a more squared base. Again, if you are a more traditional woman, that squared model will blend better with your wardrobe. If you are looking for a distinctive bag, one you don't see everyone using, I would say the fortune cookie-shaped bag is an excellent purchase. And of course, it brings a more creative and different touch compared to the crescent moon bag, which was a big hit at the beginning of 2025. So, if you like that one, it's very likely you'll like this one too. Number 2 is metallic hair accessories. Here, we are going to see a variety of pieces, but mainly silver and gold hair clips. These details have a maximalist vibe and even match those large metallic bracelets, you know? Those chunkier bracelets, usually gold or silver, that I had already been talking to you about for a while. So, it's the same idea, but for the hair. They usually come with an elastic band in the back. That way, you can tie your hair, and in the front, you'll see those golden or silver rings. They bring a very modern look. In my opinion, despite being maximalist, it's a very beautiful and sophisticated accessory. It's the kind of item you add to a basic outfit, and it transforms the whole look. To me, it's one of the best possible accessories for women who need to keep their hair tied up because it adds an element that brings more personality and a touch of glamour. But it's not overly flashy. It doesn't have too much shine. It's maximalism, but without excess, you know? Especially since they are usually smooth metals, without glitter, without crystals, not overly intricate pieces. So, I think they are perfect for women who like minimalism, but also enjoy some glamour and don't know how to combine both. To me, these pieces have the vibe of the 90s. So, if you already like that decade and think it matches your style, this is an inexpensive, practical accessory, perfect for daily wear and easy to start using. Number 3 is metal-framed sunglasses. Did you notice they were a little forgotten? Well, in 2026, they're back. They are very sophisticated and versatile. Metal-framed sunglasses usually bring more lightness and modernity. When we see frames that are wider, heavier, or more colorful, the glasses draw a lot of attention to that area, and not everyone likes that. Some people prefer a more minimalist, delicate touch. For those, I highly recommend metal frames. They will appear in gold, silver, graphite, and rose gold. In other words, a huge variety of metallic shades. You can choose rounder frames to highlight the rounder features of your face, or rectangular and squared models to enhance your angles. You can also choose the aviator model, which is ideal for women who want to project more attitude, or for those who want their face to appear slightly shorter. The choice of frame will depend on your face, on what you want to highlight, and what you want to downplay. This type of sunglasses is very versatile, very modern. It goes really well with tailoring, but also with daily wear, with casual looks. It works within casual chic and even boho, but in this case, the more elegant boho, the 2026 version. It especially favors more delicate faces and works perfectly if you are a woman with a classic, urban, or minimalist style. It is certainly a timeless trend when we talk about sunglasses, but in 2026, it comes with strength, bringing more variety and more ease when shopping. Number 4 is crochet bandanas. Crochet bandanas also came in strong among the trends for 2026. This trend, which started showing up in Europe, is very interesting because it's a piece you can actually make yourself. In fact, I think it's an excellent choice to grab a tutorial and try to make your own bandana. If you can't manage it, if crochet feels too hard for you, and I'll tell you, it's definitely very hard for me, the best option is to talk to that friend of yours who does this kind of craft, or to a seamstress you know who also crochets, and ask her to make this accessory for you. This is a creative, bold, and romantic piece, but in my opinion, only the more creative women will invest in it. It's very unique, so I wouldn't recommend it to women who are too traditional, very elegant, and don't like to take risks when putting together their looks. It is a bold piece, ladies. It attracts a lot of attention. So, my advice is, if you'd like to start wearing it, but you're a bit more discreet and afraid of something too attention-grabbing, just pick a bandana in a color close to your hair. If you're blonde, go for a shade similar to your blonde. If you have black hair, choose a black crochet bandana. Done, you'll be able to wear this accessory without it standing out too much. And little by little, you can move on to stronger colors. As I always say here on the channel, when we're about to wear an accessory, a color, a print, or something we find too bold and are afraid of, the best tip is to start small, in small doses. And in the case of this piece, since it stands out a lot, starting with a hair matching color will make it feel a bit toned down and more comfortable. In other words, it's a practical way to incorporate this cute trend into your looks without feeling like everyone is staring at you for wearing something too different. Number 5 is the bold gold trend. This trend highlights larger sized golden pieces. Here we're talking about chunky necklaces, thicker bracelets, more structured earrings, and the whole idea is really to draw attention. Usually, these pieces won't be too intricate. In 2026, they appear as smoother, almost liquid metal pieces. The essence of this aesthetic is something bold, something that stands out. That means pieces that embrace volume, generally more robust shapes with shine, but in this case, the shine of the metal itself. What's most interesting is that this trend can be added to your wardrobe in a very affordable way. You don't need to spend a lot of money, since you can invest in gold-plated steel pieces that, besides being practically eternal, don't peel, don't tarnish, don't deteriorate with time, and are waterproof. They're also very budget-friendly. This means you don't have to spend a lot to have a beautiful, bold, golden statement piece. Because, let's face it, it's awful to buy a piece, even in gold, and shortly after, it starts to show signs of wear. So, when in doubt, what I do is buy gold-plated steel pieces, and they never disappoint me. If you want to start slowly, I'd suggest buying medium-sized golden pieces, not too big, but that still carry the same aesthetic. A good example is the famous teardrop earrings, which are a huge hit this year. Actually, they've been a big hit for a while, and they're a simple, practical, and sophisticated way to start incorporating this trend into your wardrobe. This trend goes really well with more neutral pieces. So, if you're a woman with a more traditional or minimalist style, these bold golden pieces will balance your look without going overboard. In fact, I love the combination of larger, golden, statement accessories with the classic jeans and t-shirt look. If you love minimalism but also love that glamorous touch, this is definitely a trend you should start adding to your outfits. And remember, if you don't want to go too bold, start with smaller pieces, earrings, a ring, and then gradually move to larger pieces like necklaces, bracelets, and cuffs. As I've said before, it all depends on the dose. Always start small. That way, you won't feel overwhelmed because this trend really does stand out. Number 6 is the bowling bag. This bag is a super interesting accessory that brings a more structured yet rounded aesthetic. It's inspired by bags used to carry bowling balls, and its design is very striking, offering a spacious shape ideal for women who like to carry many items, especially those who need to fit slightly longer objects inside their bag. In 2026, these bags appear a little smaller. Back in early 2025, they came in longer and more eye-catching versions. However, in 2026, we'll see more compact models. This bag is sophisticated and at the same time sweet. Because of its rounded corners, it doesn't create that overly closed-off traditional effect, meaning it works well both for more traditional women and for romantic ones who seek practicality when styling their looks. For more sophisticated outfits, I'd say to pair this bag with clean pieces like a midi skirt, knits, or even monochromatic sets. That way, you'll create an elegant and contemporary contemporary look. For casual outfits, you can choose sportier versions or even rubber-finished ones. That way, you'll get that casual touch that works perfectly with the polo dress, which is also very trendy right now. The slightly more compact format will harmonize well with most body types and silhouettes. In other words, it follows that 2026 trend of valuing pieces that flatter most women. It's an excellent purchase. In addition to being a very interesting bag, you can invest in leather or other materials. Of course, leather, especially natural leather, will bring more durability. If you take good care of it, this is the kind of bag you'll have forever. So it's worth spending a little extra if that guarantees durability. If you're looking for the perfect everyday bag, one that will stick with you, you can and should go for the bowling bag, especially the not-so-big versions. Number 7 is pearls, especially larger pearls, big pearls. We've had the pearl phenomenon accompanying us since the beginning of 2025, or even a little earlier than that. We've seen many pieces with pearl applications, from coats, jackets, jeans, to just about everything you could imagine with pearls on it. And now, within the 2026 trends, pearls are making a comeback but bigger, standing out. Of course, pearls bring delicacy and a very traditional feel, but these larger models add a more glam touch and naturally, a bit more creativity. We're talking about more maximalist pieces, meaning big earrings, big necklaces, and even bolder, oversized applications on clothing. I'd say the best option is to pair them with minimalist pieces. That way, you can balance your looks and avoid anything overly extravagant. Again, this is a trend that tends to draw attention. So, if you're not even used to wearing small or medium pearls, don't jump straight into giant pearls. It might be a shock, and you might not like it. Another detail is that natural pearls tend to be expensive. So, my tip is to start with an artificial pearl. This way, you don't spend a lot on a piece you might not even enjoy wearing. If your style is more classic or preppy, you'll probably like this pearl aesthetic. If you're a very modern woman, pearls might not fit as well into your wardrobe. You might feel like they age you or look a bit dull. So, it depends a lot on your style. I'd say liquid metal is more suitable for modern women, while pearls are a better fit for women with a more traditional style. Number 8 is the straw hat, especially the bucket style, in models with slightly shorter brims. They're light, relaxed, and perfect to wear on sunny days. This type of hat is a strong trend for 2026. The most interesting thing is that it adapts well to different occasions, going beyond that traditional beach look. While the bucket hat is perfect for women who enjoy a youthful, casual style, the shorter brimmed models, which are a bit more traditional, are ideal for those seeking classic elegance. It's a perfect accessory for the beach, but you can also wear it day to day, especially on hot days or even on a trip. If you live in a coastal region, it's the perfect accessory to always have nearby. The interesting part is that you can combine this hat with details like leather finishes or similar touches, which add sophistication and a luxe vibe. In fact, the combination of straw or raffia with leather is one of the most elegant and sophisticated mixes out there, and it's also a strong trend for 2026. The straw hat is also great for women who want sun protection without overheating, since straw allows ventilation. That means thermal comfort. If you're over 40 or 50 and dealing with hot flashes from menopause, this is a super useful accessory for your daily life. And since 2026 will bring versions with slightly shorter brims, that works to our advantage because wearing very large hats isn't always practical or easy. These smaller models are much easier to incorporate day to day. One tip is to always carry an accessory that lets you clip your hat to your bag. These kinds of clips are very common, especially in Korean or Japanese stores, since it's common there for women to wear hats daily for sun protection. Having that little clip to attach your hat to your bag will make it easier and encourage you to wear it more often. It's a perfect accessory, wonderful and very functional. In other words, it's a must-have on your list. And tell me, what's your favorite accessory? For me, it's rings, but I want to know which one you like best. Tell me in detail in the comments. You know your opinion influences the other subscribers here on the channel, right? Your comment not only helps me keep bringing you information, but also helps other women decide what to buy. So, leave your opinion. And of course, you also know those magic words you write in the comments help me a lot. And today's are 2026 accessories trends. By writing them, you help me keep posting videos every day because Honestly, it takes a lot of work and research, so I count on your support. While you help me, we'll keep going with the video. Number 9 is fish core. Here we have a super interesting trend, at least for those who love fish, since we'll be seeing all kinds of fish and aquatic themed items and accessories. We'll see marine elements, shells, and all sorts of pieces inspired by this theme. It's a creative trend, but can also have a sophisticated edge, especially if you include more nautical elements. As long as you avoid overly colorful or flashy items, you can definitely wear fish core accessories in your daily life. This is certainly a trend born on social media. It makes sense, given how youthful and creative it island. Because it's so versatile, it works across all styles. But as I said, if you want something more elegant, stick to pieces without too many colors. For example, a bracelet with a fish or shell element, all in gold or all in silver. You can also opt for items with a more nautical aesthetic. We're seeing many bracelets and necklaces, for example, featuring rope elements in blue, white, and red colors that reference the nautical style. It's a big trend in both 2025 and 2026, but without being too bold. Now, if you're a very creative woman, I'd say go for those colorful pieces in shades like turquoise and orange, which are strong colors in 2026 trends and match fish core perfectly. And if you're a fish lover like me and have aquariums at home, this is also a great trend to use as a personal style statement. It's worth wearing a pendant or maybe a keychain on your bag, taking advantage of this trend while it's strong and deciding which piece you'd like to add to your aesthetic. Another trend full of personality for 2026. Number 10 is the oversized clutch trend. Here we have these bags, but in a larger version. Of course, these pieces would be maximized. After all, maximalism is a major highlight in the 2026 fashion trends, contrasting with their previous version of smaller bags. These larger handbags, which can even reach the size of a small pillow, combine strong visual impact with a robust accessory that is also functional when it comes to carrying many items. But of course, it is not that super versatile piece if you are a woman who needs to keep her hands free. If you are the type of woman who is managing children or grandchildren, I do not recommend this bag for your daily life because it can make things harder. You have to carry the bag and also carry the child. However, if you are thinking of a bag for a special occasion, like a dinner or something similar, then yes, I highly recommend using this bag. You can pair this type of bag with a tailored blazer, which will create contrast. It also matches very well with the boho style, especially the elegant boho of 2026, since it carries information, maximalism, and brings a creative touch while remaining elegant and slightly relaxed. In other words, it is a very versatile bag when it comes to the looks you can combine it with. If you want to start in a simpler way, I would suggest combining it with smaller pieces, ones that don't have much visual weight, because then the bag becomes the standout item in the outfit. The same goes for color. Although I've seen many bags in red or burgundy shades, bold, striking, and even sensual tones, I would say that if you are a more minimalist or traditional woman, classic options like black and brown are your best choices, as they won't look as bold or flashy. These bags are perfect for evening events, but they can also work as your main day-to-day bag. If you are a tall woman, this bag will harmonize very well with your silhouette, but it will also bring impact if you are shorter. If your style is elegant, fashionable, or glam, this is definitely a bag worth investing in. Number 11 is keychains and bag charms. This trend is very strong. It started in 2025 and promises to continue in 2026. The idea is to bring personality to your bag. So, for example, you can add keychains or charms related to your hobbies, your profession, or even follow fashion trends like the famous Labubu. There is absolutely nothing wrong with following a trend or a fad. If you like it, if you think it's fun, if you think it's pretty, that's fine, you can follow it. What you shouldn't do is wear something you don't like just to please others. In that case, I don't recommend it. But if you like Labubu and want to have your Labubu, then have your Labubu. Life is too short to miss out on something you liked, something you find fun or interesting, just to please or displease someone else. Follow your personality. If you are a more creative woman, anything goes. You can mix plush toys, ribbons, fruits, little animals, whatever you like. If you are a bit more sophisticated but still want to join in the fun, I'd say choose slightly more polished accessories. So, Nothing too colorful, nothing plush. The idea here is simpler metals, but you can still embrace the bag charm trend. You could also choose a charm that, although simple, such as a padlock charm, is larger. The idea is to contrast simplicity with size. In other words, there's something for every taste. The concept here is to become a true kakareko girl, meaning you'll add all sorts of things mixed together on your bag. To me, it's a super interesting trend. Even though it's one of those social media fads, it brings a lot of personality. Everyone creates their own version with the things they like. So, it's perfect. If you liked this trend, it's really worth joining in. Don't get stuck on the thought of, I won't follow a fad. Follow what you like. And don't follow what you don't like. If this was the video you were waiting for to buy your labubu, then go for it, girl. Buy your labubu. Life is too short not to enjoy it. Number 12 is resin necklaces and bracelets. Those who follow the channel know that earlier this year, I brought up the reference of transparent bangles. These resin pieces, which were a huge hit in the 1990s, are making a comeback for 2026. Here, we have colorful, bold, large, and voluminous pieces. The idea is really to embrace maximalism, but you don't have to be overly daring. You can start with transparent pieces with no added color. That way, you get something a little cleaner and simpler. The idea here is to create a creative, urban, and fun look, so if it fits your style, you can also mix different colors. The interesting thing about resin pieces is that they can even be made at home. For that, you'll need a kit and some molds. You can also ask an artisan to make a piece the way you want it in the colors you like, with the finishes you want, and even embedding something inside the resin if that's your taste. Here's another tip. If you find this trend too bold or flashy, you don't have to start with a big piece. You can begin with, for example, a resin ring. Look a small, simple, and not at all exaggerated piece. Then, you can move on to earrings, medium-sized ones, and later perhaps a bracelet until you get to a bigger, more voluminous necklace. In other words, it's all about choosing the resin piece style that suits you best. Remember that some models will be larger and more eye-catching, while others can indeed be delicate. It really depends on your style, but it's a very beautiful trend that started in early 2025 and seems to be growing a lot for 2026. And if you're enjoying this video, you need to subscribe to the channel because there's a new video every day, always talking about fashion, beauty, and tips. Videos with lots of images, references, and inspiration for you. If you like this kind of content, you need to subscribe and also activate the notification bell. That way, YouTube will notify you every day when a new video is posted. So don't waste time, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Select all notifications so YouTube can alert you. And while you do that, let's continue with the video. Number 13 is wool textured bags. Here, we will have bags that are really made as if they were sheepskin leather with wool. It is a cozier bag, bringing plenty of charm and comfort. This is a bag that strongly refers to autumn and winter, while also adding that more artisanal touch, mixing luxury and natural materials. The interesting thing is that this is a bag you can wear with a wide variety of styles, since wool can be applied to different bag models, from the more structured ones to the softer ones, which, in fact, these are very trendy for 2026. It can appear in crossbody bags as well as in smaller models. The interesting thing is to choose the bag style you like the most. You can also add wool to a bag you already have in your wardrobe. What you can do is buy this material and apply it only to one part, like an opening, for example. It doesn't need to be a bag entirely made of wool. It can be just a detail. One idea I'll give you is to search in thrift shops, since many times this type of bag ends up forgotten in the corner. And then, it becomes a great purchase option, and also a piece that will cost much less for everyday use. This type of bag is perfect to add that touch of personality to more casual looks, like the famous jeans and t-shirt combo. For slightly more sophisticated looks, I would say you can use wool only as a finishing detail. Models with too much wool or that are too large may end up looking overly flashy and clash when it comes to a more formal event. To create contrast, you can pair the wool bag with pieces made of smoother and more discreet fabrics. This way, the contrast of textures brings a very special touch, especially if you want to put together that monochromatic look. This way, you will have several textures in the same shade, which will make your outfit much richer. Number 14 is faux fur collars. This trend is strong and coming in full force for 2026. It brings that glamorous and opulent vibe of fur coats, but with a new, more modern, and also more ethical approach. The idea here is pieces that stand out. So, you don't need to use the collar color only on a jacket, you can wear it on various different pieces, which makes it much easier to combine and much more versatile. Again, we have here a trend more focused on autumn and winter, and if you're the type who likes a more luxurious look, that mob wife aesthetic, or the idea of maximalism, this trend will perfectly match your style. How do I recommend you use this trend? You can buy a coat or a jacket that already has faux fur in the collar part, or you can buy only the faux fur collar or even just the faux fur and attach a little ribbon to tie it onto your jacket when wearing it. Another tip is to sew on a type of button or something that allows you to fasten the fur onto your coat and remove it whenever you want. In fact, this will make it much easier to wash since you can separate one from the other. To create more sophisticated looks, I would say the best idea is to choose neutral tones: black, brown, beige, and gray. These are shades that never go out of style, are timeless, and of course, easier to pair with the pieces you already own. You can also create that all-black look. This way, you'll bring in different textures. Since we're talking about a completely black outfit, adding smoother, shinier, suede-like, and furrier textures will create a super interesting effect. For more casual looks, I would say you can keep the outfit simple and basic, and then bring in just the collar, especially on a straighter denim jacket, which will make the overall look more sporty and suitable for everyday wear. This is a different and bold trend and, as I mentioned earlier, start slowly. This way, it won't look too daring or overly flashy. Avoid buying that super fluffy high pile fur. If you've never worn faux fur, start with something simpler, with shorter hair. And of course, once again, it's worth checking out that thrift shop near your home to save money and give new life to a piece that was forgotten there. Number 15 is sneakers customized with different laces. Here, we're talking about all kinds of customization. We'll see colorful laces, ribbons, metallic versions. This is even a trend that strongly relates to youthfulness and streetwear, but has also conquered luxury fashion. So anything goes when it comes to styling your sneakers, especially with this huge variety of laces. It works really well with jeans, light dresses, and skirts. If you like that 2000s and 2010s streetwear aesthetic, it will match perfectly with you. And the most interesting part is that it's a super cheap and super accessible trend, since you can take the sneakers you already have and simply add a different lace or a ribbon to give them a fresh new look. Without a doubt, one of the easiest trends to adopt from our list. And speaking of our list, it's getting really long, so I'll make a part 2. While part 2 isn't out yet, you can check out the items from the 70s that have come back into fashion because yes, the 70s have made a huge return for 2026 trends. And trust me, there are many trends that have returned. So, you need to check them out. Want to know which ones? Just click on that video appearing on your screen. I'll see you there.